Hey, what's happening, everybody? It's Thursday night. Time for another episode of Thrifty Business. I'm your one host, Jason Thrifts. How are you?
Hi, I'm Debbie in California.
Hi, Debbie.
Long time no see.
What's happening, Debs?
Oh, not much. Just excited to be back on co-hosting.
Yay! It's been a while.
I know. I thought, do I remember how to do this?
All right, let's. Without further ado, let's get right to our first segment, shall we?
Yes.
All right, now it's time for Jay's Tiki Talk. Each week, I drink a different rum out of a different tiki mug, and I try and match it up to our guest. And our guest today is Elijah McCloskey. Hello, Elijah. How are you?
Hey, how you doing?
Hi, Elijah.
I'm great.
You were tricky. Well, the mug was easy. You live in Wisconsin, and one of the best tiki bars in the country is in Wisconsin. It's in Milwaukee. It's called the Foundation Bar.
Yep.
So here's the rum barrel from that. There's no rum that kind of relates to bicycles. And so I was like, I'm walking around my house because I got about 150 different rums, and I'm scratching my head. And then I run across this one that I hadn't tried yet. I just picked this up. It's called Black Bell. And I'm sure you put on a bell on a bike once or twice.
I have.
So there we go. Ring, 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 ring.
I love it.
So cheers to you, sir. Thanks for coming on.
Okay, I'm taking some medicine, so I'm not drinking alcohol right now. And I did not know that the Tiki Fairy had a new Tiki mug for me, a surprise. I don't even know what it is. I don't even know where it came from.
Who's the Tiki Fairy? I don't even know who that is.
My husband. Oh. So anyway, I thought, let's open this on the show and see what it is. Oh my gosh!
Oh, that's very nice.
Did this come from the Tonga hut? Oh, I was talking to the guy that made this, and I'm like, nah, I'm not going to buy that. But my husband bought it. Oh my gosh, it's the best. Oh, I love it.
That was a good on-air reaction. Bill, do that every week, would you?
Oh, I'm so happy. I wanted this one so bad, but I was like, just stay calm. You don't need that. Yeah, I do.
Well done,
Never
Bill.
have too many mugs.
That's right.
And like a true bicyclist, I saw you drinking out of a bike water bottle.
Oh yeah, Clean Canteen. That's a nice bolo. Actually, if you find these in the wild, you can sell them maybe $10, $20.
Nice.
If you find them, stainless steel with a silicone seal. So if you can get a good price on them, they turn really fast too.
Good to know. All right, chill, relax, sit back, enjoy the show, and we'll see you in a little bit. All right, let me get this back in here. Ta-da. All right, here we go. So exciting. All kinds of good stuff to share this week. So now it's time for our scores of the week. These are the bolos, things you should be on the lookout for that Debbie and I have sold this week.
Oh, yes. I have. This is a Levi's denim purse, and it sold for full asking price of $39. It's been listed for a year and a half, and I had it on Poshmark for $16. But somebody found it on eBay and wanted to pay full price for it. So I'm really happy about that. And that's sold via promoted listings. I know a lot of times people say they don't want to use them, but out of 15 sales, 6 of them were from promoted listings. So that's good.
Awesome.
Yes. And don't give up on Starbucks mugs. This one sold for full asking price of $35.99. I don't think we had free shipping on there. Plus shipping. Yes. And that one's kind of got a matte finish, so Stacy could not pick that one up and touch it because it's not glossy.
Just like the mug you just opened.
Oh yeah, but I'll touch that one all day long. Okay, this book, we had it listed for $450. It's a big, heavy N.C. Wyeth, an artistic book. I think it's it's 2 volumes in there. I put it on sale for $299. And I sent an offer out. I sent an offer to a guy for $299, and he bought it almost immediately. And so I was very happy. It's a consignment, so I'm happy to have that sold.
Well done.
And then another book. This is about Richard Nixon. Another consignment. This one was only listed for about 6 months, but in it sold for the full asking price of $59.99. So there's a lot of money in books.
Debbie is our book whisperer. So all of you know that I'm into Tiki. I know that's not a shocker, but before Stacy and I got into Tiki, we collected hippos and rhinos, and we still have a few things laying around that I'm cleaning out and selling. And I had these two little Nairobi Tony Safari drawings, a hippo and a rhino, obviously. And man, I'm sure I didn't pay much for these. And they were in my store for a little while, but sold them yesterday or this morning for $48. So I'm very excited.
Nice.
Now, this isn't the biggest sale, but I wanted to share it because it was a play option on Notre Dame. It's Yoder Dame, the home of the farm and Amish. This is directly from Ohio's Amish country. I paid $1.49, and I did sell for $20. But I used to sell a lot of these fun shirts, and then fun shirts quit selling. But being from Ohio and being from near the Amish country, I had to grab it. And hey, it was only up for like a month, so it was a pretty quick sale.
Nice.
Sold another San Marcos blanket for $88 plus shipping.
Yay!
So I'm very excited. My my lion and lioness.
Nice job taking it on your bed, laying it out like that.
I didn't do that for a long time, and then I'm like, let me try it on the bed, and with a step stool and the help of my wife, super easy to do. So. Nice. And I have about 8 more I got to list, so I got to get those up while it's getting cold.
You are the San Marcos whisperer. You find more than anybody.
I am. And then I found this Disneyland vintage, must have been a Frontierland uniform at Buffalo Exchange, one of my favorite places to source, for like $9. It's old. Here's the Disneyland patch over the pocket, and then here is. Well, I would love to show you the picture, but the pictures aren't moving no more. So weird. Huh. I would love to show you the label, but wow.
Does it have a what's that thing called? Cowboys? Oh, never mind. It was there was a line. It was hooking to the arrow on the side, so I thought it had like a lasso thingy around.
There we go. I'll work it here. There we go. So it was an H-Bar-C ranch wear shirt, the El Dorado collection, old school, made in the USA. And then that green worn out tag was the actual uniform tag from Disneyland. It didn't sell for $100, but I did get $70 for it.
Wow. That's awesome.
Yeah. So that was my awesome sale of the week. All right. Now we've seen our regular stuff. Now it's time for my CD and cassette scores of the week. All right. Of those of you watching right now, who isn't flipping cassettes yet? Debbie, are you flipping cassettes?
Yes, I am.
Good job. I know my mom is. If you think that you shouldn't have taken my flipping cassettes webinar, you would be wrong, because let me show you something here, Debs. First, I sold these 3 Run DMC cassettes for a group of 3 for $24.
Nice.
And then someone in Australia needed these 41 cassettes, and with shipping and GST, they paid $344 Australian dollars.
No way.
So if you aren't flipping cassettes yet, so that's 34 American dollars. So for shipping on,
we have some on the listing table right now that Bill's working on. Yeah.
So that's what my webinar teaches you, all about how to group them, how to sell them individually. And I was very excited. This was an overnight sale. I was very excited to wake up to that.
Wow, that's amazing.
I just sold a Christmas CD as we're talking.
Yay!
Yoo-hoo. Now, of course, they're not all cassettes. Here's some CDs. Now, this is not a big sale. Usually I profile my big ones, but here's why I wanted to share this one, Deb. A Time to Kill is replaying. This movie is replaying on one of the cable channels like HBO or Showtime for the last 2 weeks, over and over and over. Every time I hop on the movie channel to see what's playing, I see A Time to Kill always playing. Always. And so I don't know this for a fact, but I got to imagine maybe someone watched it on cable in the last week and went, oh, I want that soundtrack, and went and bought it from me. I only paid $1.99 for it, sold it for $19.
Nice.
Found this Steve Martin. Steve Martin is, besides being a comedian, he's also a banjo player and fronts the band, the Steep Canyon Rangers. I found this fully autographed CD at Savers for $1.99. Sold it for $24.
Nice.
And this is a special kind of CD called DVD audio that I teach you about in the CD flipping webinar. Sold the Donald Fagen for $58 and the Steely Dan, which is also Donald Fagen, for $57 to the same customer.
Wow. I love Steely Dan.
Yep. So if you have not yet taken my courses, what are you waiting for? Head on over to JasonThrifts.com. I'm like, blah, 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 blah. And there you will find all my courses, especially my flipping CDs and flipping cassettes, because there's so much money to be made. I mean, what I just showed you would pay for both those webinars like 7 times over, just on those 6 things.
Yep.
Just those 6 things.
And you go to garage sales, estate sales, they're kind of
everywhere.
In the corner. Everybody, they're just, I kind of lost money. People just put them aside. They think, especially cassettes. Oh, who wants those? Holy cow, there could be $100 cassette tape sitting there.
Absolutely. But as we know, not everything's a winner. These are duds of the week. Do not let our mistakes be yours.
Yes, this is a dud because it sat around for 2.5 years. Talk about listed and forget it. I know. Sold for $12.99 on a 15% off sale. Charlie Brown. So, you know, sometimes you just, little things that are small don't take up a whole lot of room. You just kind of forget about them because I'm so busy listing newer stuff. So I kind of guess that's a dud. But it's cute. It's a cute dud. And then I got these, I think 3 or 4 of these sets. It's a cupcake cardboard. You put it together. It's cardboard. I got at the grocery store on clearance for like 69 cents. So we finally sold one, and it actually went to Hawaii. I'm trying to say, I think it was listed 2 years. And then the day that one sold for $11, I tried to send when my daughter was going to a party. She had made cupcakes. I tried to give her one to take to the party, and she goes, I don't want that. So it's truly a dud.
All right. So I didn't really have any dud sales this week. I had all very good sales this week, including today. I shipped almost $300 worth of stuff today. So
nice.
Christmas is definitely upon us. But speaking of Christmas upon us, I've had this great Nordic snowman skiing fabric for a couple of seasons now. 44 inches by 10 yards. Now I don't sew, so I don't know what that would make you. But I'm tired of looking at it. And so if someone crafty wants it, I would do it for, a cool $20 plus shipping.
20 yards. That's a lot of fabric. You can make curtains out of that.
So
valances or a table skirt. A Christmas tree skirt.
Yeah. You can make a wrap. You can make a pterodactyl, a brooch, whatever. So I got that. And Guy Harvey's usually a good brand of shirts to buy, but I've had this kick-ass Guy Harvey fishing hat for a long time. I got free shipping on it. Anyone's looking for a Guy Harvey fishing hat, I would happily accept $12 with free shipping. So Tiki Pug Music is my seller ID. I'm always willing to cut deals, especially if it's been sitting around for far too long.
Yeah.
All right, now it's time for where in the world did our stuff go? If you are not shipping internationally, you are leaving out 7.3 billion with a B potential customers.
Yes, you are.
You've got international. Yeah.
I'm so happy to have one. This is a Paradise Hawaiian. It's a size medium, which is, in Japan, a lot of people are smaller sizes. And it went to Kobe, Hyogo, Japan, where that little airplane is pointing to.
Very nice.
Yeah, sold for $24. So
now, funny, we don't plan ahead what we're showing, and so Debbie sends me her stuff or whatever co-host, and so sometimes we have things that are very, very similar. So I too had a shirt this week, but mine went to Madrid, Spain.
Oh,
and nice. Mine was an old school Vegas print with the Bellagio monogrammed on the pocket. Ooh. Someone in Madrid, Spain this week needed this Vegas shirt, so
that's cool.
You never know who needs something somewhere. That's why you should always be selling internationally, because customers all over the world want what you got.
And they're not afraid. Usually they're paying more for shipping than they're paying for the item we're selling to them.
I mean, look, that guy paid $344 Australian dollars for 41 cassettes.
Yeah, it's crazy. They have many.
What? Cassettes. That's crazy. All right, now it's time for... You have got to be shipping me little tips and tricks, what to do and what not to do when it comes to shipping.
Alrighty. This came up in the thrifting board. If you're not a member of the thrifting board, you should join, because we learn a lot of things. But and I've heard this over the years. This is a sticker that you can order from USPS. I circled the number there if you were to want to order this. But if you put that on your box, it incurs a special handling fee of $10.95. And I put it right there. It requires an applicable fee. And if you don't pay it, then your buyer pays it. So when they get the package, because, you know, we print our labels on eBay and we think, no big deal, I'll slap this sticker on, and then their buyer gets it and gets charged for that. So if you really feel like you have to use this, go to the counter and pay the $10.95 ahead of time. And something I learned, you know, from Amazon, and we all should, your package should be able to drop off a 4-foot height onto a cement floor and not break. That's how well we should be shipping our packages. So slapping a special handling fragile, and we hear rumors that they like, when you write special handling, whatever on it, fragile, they like to kick the packages around. So be careful when you use that sticker.
Now mine was from those 41 cassettes I sent. I should have taken a picture of that actual box and I forgot to. But here's the deal. When you're sending media, especially multiple quantities like 41 cassettes, you don't need packing material. So if you happen to find a box that fit 41 cassettes perfectly, that's fine. You don't need packing material. Cassettes, CDs, especially when they're in a big group, are a very solid brick. So here's a box with 42 cassettes in it. And the only space we have is that little space on the left lower corner there. So I would stick like an air pillow or just a little bit of bubble wrap in there to fill that space. But you don't need to have them wrapped individually or as a group. I just wanted to let you know that, because I don't think I've ever mentioned that. So if you're sending one in a bubble envelope, yeah, I usually put some cardboard around a cassette. But if you're sending a group in a box, you don't need extra padding. So don't waste it.
Great tip.
I hate when I see people waste packing materials. All right, so now it's time for our Thrifty Tips of the Week. Little tips and tricks to help you out when you're out sourcing and thrifting.
Okay, when you go to estate sales, open the drawers and the doors. A lot of times they haven't got everything out, and there's still items in there. And every single time I do this, somebody always asks me, it's okay if we open the doors and the drawers? I say, of course. Look and see. A lot of times they're empty, but a lot of times there's still flatware in there. You never know. One time I picked up a little box in a drawer, and it had jewelry in it. Of course, they took that from me because the people setting up the estate sale didn't know about that box of jewelry that I found. And they had to take it and reprice it and do all this. But you never know. And in the garages too, open doors and drawers and snoop everywhere. If they don't want you in a room, there's going to be a sign that says do not enter. So go on and
I do that all the time. And Deb, I was at a liquidation sale of a casino that was being destroyed. And I saw a really cool sign that was adhered to the wall. So I just put my hands on it and I tore it off. Wow. And there were people standing next to me who were shopping too, and they went like this. I go, they're getting a demolition ball to this building in 2 weeks. Like they'll take any money. So if you want something on the wall, tear it off the wall. Now, I wouldn't tear it off the wall in a house. But if a building's being knocked down, they'll happily, they charge me like $2 for the sign. But that was $2 more than they would have had because no one else thought to rip the sign off the wall.
Yep. Yeah, you got to be really detectives.
All right. I hope you can tell, those of you who are watching, well, that would be everybody. That's a weird thing to say. That this is Blurry. The English Beat is a great ska band, and saw them in concert last year. I did not take a blurry photo to further demonstrate. As you can see, the price tag is in focus, but the art isn't. This is a bootleg parking lot t-shirt of the worst kind.
Oh, wow.
So when you're outsourcing and you find concert shirts or band shirts, here's a big key. If it's blurry, that is not a legit shirt. Again, as you can see, my picture is not blurry because the tag is nice and clear, but that isn't nice and clear. So that is a good indicator you have bought or you're about to buy a bootleg t-shirt. So don't buy it.
I love when they make it easy for us to realize, oh, this is not legit.
Yeah, that one was because I was like, All right, now it's time for our online selling tip of the week. No matter where you're selling, we always have little tips to help you out.
All righty. This is a really handy little tool. You just put in your user ID name and it will bring up any duplicate listings that you have. I know eBay's better now about telling us, hey, you already have this listed, but sometimes things get through, these ghost listings that we hear about. I only had I had two. Well, one that was duplicate, but it was really two different items. I just named them the same because they're different pieces of jewelry. But it's fun to just run through just to make sure you don't actually have something listed twice, because you don't want to sell it twice and then have an out of stock situation. And then if you click up in the very top there where I had circled the eBay tools, they have other tools, this company, and they're free. So there's some other tools in there too that are kind of fun to check around and see if maybe those can help you with your business a little bit.
Yeah, if they don't want any duplicate listings, that's a no-no. Mm-hmm. All right. So there's something that happened this week. I don't know if eBay announced it. I saw discussion elsewhere, and then it happened to me this morning, so I thought I'd share it with you. Now we've talked about the send offer feature to your watchers many times. I hope all of you do that because it does get you sales. So if you go to your active listings and then you click send offers, it shows you right now. When I did this graphic, I had 32 people I could send offers to. So what I had been doing, Deb, is I'd been sending an offer of what my bottom line price is, especially if it was a listing that I had forever. Okay. Like, all right, let's not mess around. Like, here's the bottom line price. However, just this week, they added the person who gets that offer can counter offer you. That is
no way.
So now I'm not going to give bottom line. I'll give like maybe 80% to bottom line. And because then today I got this back because I'd offer them 25. I was asking $27.99. I sent out an offer of 25. They sent me a counter offer of $21.04. Now I don't understand that counter offer because it made me laugh. But I happily took it, and because I bought this record for $2. Now here's a bonus bolo. This was a promo sampler from Warner Brothers. It's called Winter Wonderland, pressed on green and red vinyl, as you can see.
Pretty.
I probably sold this record like 25 times in the last 20 years. So, but it's nice that they can now counter offer us. So keep that in mind. So if don't send your bottom line, send a little bit above it. So if they counter, then you're like, okay, this is cool, because my bottom line was like 20 on this, really.
Oh, okay.
But I thought, let me try 25. If no one picks it up, the next time I send it out, I'll send 20. So when they came back with 21.04, I'm like, sweet, that's $1.04 more than I was planning on doing anyway.
And they feel like they're getting a deal. Now, can you turn that off? I thought someone said in the thrifting board you can turn off that option for them to counter.
Yeah, Christine just said you can opt out for counter offer.
Oh, okay, good.
But I wouldn't. I never would. Like, hey, if anyone wants to discuss giving me money, it might not be the right, but let's have that discussion. I'm always up for a discussion.
True.
Heck yeah. All right. That was all our segments. We went quick today. All right, a couple quick commercials. The Den of Sin mugs, for those of you who have ordered, are on their way here. They've been shipped from Florida. They're on their way. And here is the mug. The Den of Sin is our home bar. The logo was designed by our good friend, Tiki artist Doug Horn. It is a swanky New Zealand Maori devil tiki. And it's got the Den of Sin and the old school Vegas skyline on the back of the mug. Nice. It is a big mug. It's 9 inches tall, holds 20 ounces.
Whoa.
And we still do have about 23 left, I think. And so if you're interested and you're watching live, here is the link to order one. It's a great mug. And, I haven't talked about this much, but it will be flippable. If you are buying to flip it, I don't care. The artist and the manufacturers Eek 'em Book 'em. He makes incredible mugs, and Doug Horn does incredible art. So stuff like that always increases in price.
Can't wait to get mine.
And we only did 200, and then we're breaking the mold. We're breaking the color mold on that one. We are doing a couple other colors, but $89. Yep, they are. Rags asking if they're numbered. Yep, they are numbered. $89 plus shipping. If you live in the Vegas, LA, San Francisco area, I'm always in those spots, so you don't have to pay for shipping if you want to just grab it from me. So, if you got any questions, just hit me up and ask me.
That's a great Christmas gift for a Tiki collector.
Yes, absolutely. All right. Mom and I will have a show this Sunday. So like in 3 days, Mom and I will have a show. But next week, the holiday week, I will be on a sourcing road trip with my beautiful wife, Stacy. And so there'll be no Thrifty business because, of course, I wouldn't do one on Thanksgiving anyway. Plus, I'll be at Disneyland. Woohoo!
Yeah.
And then on Sunday, when Mom and I usually do our show, I will be sourcing in the Bay Area and hopefully hanging out with Debbie and Bill.
Yes.
So this Sunday, 3 days, Mom and I will definitely have a show. Then no shows next week. Enjoy your family. And then we'll be back the first week of December. But I will be broadcasting from the road. And we are sourcing our way from here into Anaheim, LA, San Francisco, Oakland, Berkeley, the outskirts of the Bay Area. So all kinds of sourcing activities. So I'll be sharing those with you.
Sourcing extravaganza.
Yes. Extravaganza. So yeah, we got to talk about hanging out if you guys got time.
Oh yeah. Oh, we'll make time. We're only a half hour from San Francisco.
Yeah, and Mom and I don't have an idea yet for this Sunday. Funny enough, I just messaged her like 3 minutes ago. I'm like, "Ooh, you got any ideas for Sunday?" It's because I've been sick for like a week and a half, and so my whole life is behind about a week and a half. So if you got something you'd like us to cover on Sunday, we are open to suggestions. You can pop it in right now. You can message me or my mom, whatever. We're always happy to discuss whatever you guys want to learn. So
sounds fun.
All right. Ta-da. Let's get our guest in here. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for Elijah. Hey, Elijah, what's happening?
Not much. It's great. It's good to see you guys again.
Nice.
How you doing, sir?
I'm great. I just sold some stuff. Sent out some offers.
Nice. Yeah, that Christmas CD I sold was $20. I was so excited to see it.
Oh, yeah.
Woohoo. All right, Debbie, I'm taking you out for a quick second. And I'm back, so that way Elijah's up in the corner. So first off, I can see Elijah in what they call the backstage area. So when I'm hosting this show, Elijah's down below me. I can see him the whole time. And I was just thinking, look at that hair. I'm so jealous. It's big volume. I'm like, damn.
Did you ever have a bigot? Did you ever let it grow?
I have. I'm going to grow it out until it gets warm.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Oh, this was my winter beard from like 12 years ago.
Nice. Very nice.
So, Elijah, you have a phenomenally fascinating story, which culminated in you winning the Ebay Shine Award, and it's crazy. It's one of those stories that if someone said, "Here's a movie script," the company'd be like, "This doesn't happen. Come on now."
Yep.
It's too easy. Too easy to start where you did and then end up where you did. So let's go back. Let's go in the backup machine. And where were you born? Where'd you grow up?
I was born in Galveston Bay, Texas. My family moved to Wisconsin when I was a kid. I had problems with my family, so when I was 16, I moved out of my parents' house, and I ended up living on the street in Wisconsin in the winter. And I came to this nonprofit organization that I work with now that had just started like a couple months before I showed up. And they gave me a broken bicycle for free. And then they taught me how to fix that broken bicycle.
Now, at 16, while you're homeless, how'd you know about this organization?
I think I went to like a punk show in the warehouse that it was in with some friends who I met on a bus.
Nice.
So, but yeah, so I got a bike, and then I was able to keep a job because like the really important thing with basic jobs is just show up on time, right? That's it. That
helps.
Almost everything to care about. So I was able to keep a job, and I was able to use that to get an apartment, and then I was able to start a couple businesses, work a lot more fulfilling jobs, and eventually go to UW-Madison and get a good degree in business management. And then I came back to the organization and became the executive director, and then also did a lot of e-commerce stuff in the meantime.
Nice.
So when, all right, so you're 16, they taught you how to fix a bike. And from 16, so when did you enter college? What year did you enter college?
I started going to school when I was like 19.
Okay, so once you got that bike, you were a hustler because you were pretty self-sufficient on your own, obviously.
Oh yeah, I mean, I started flipping stuff on Craigslist, like, stuff like that, working a bunch of different jobs. Like before I started doing stuff on my own, I probably worked 30, 35 basic jobs. I mean, one that really changed my life that taught me a lot of stuff was when I was 18, I got a job selling futons in a store. And that store sold online.
Ah.
And they were getting slower and slower and slower. They're just on a website, like no marketplaces or anything, but they were getting slower and slower business in store and devoting more and more time to online. So I ended up doing, customer service, answering questions, answering the phone, convincing people to buy this versus that. And then I was working in the warehouse doing packing and shipping. And that's kind of where I picked up a lot of really valuable skills that you need in an eBay or an Amazon business.
Yeah.
And it kind of gave me the inspiration to do some of the stuff. And then Craigslist was a thing. This is like 10 years ago. So Craigslist was just starting to be a thing. And I started buying cheap bikes on Craigslist and then turning them over that I knew were worth a lot more than what people were asking. And Craigslist used to be easy money. Craigslist is not a good platform for serious sellers anymore, but Craigslist used to be a great platform to sell.
As soon as you meant, I hadn't thought about that, but when you said that, I'm like, I haven't really gotten anything good off of Craigslist in a long time.
I still buy good stuff on it, but selling, it's like pretty hostile.
Yeah,
Like, they changed it so it's like $5 fees per ad, and then everybody's flagging your stuff. And like, I used to have 300 items up, and I would sell like a couple items a day, like out of my house.
Wow.
So,
and these are not cheap items; these are like bicycles and frames. So $50.
Right, yeah. This isn't like $5 items.
Yeah. So
when you were 16 and on your own, did you? I'm assuming you stayed in high school too, though, that whole time.
I actually dropped out of high school.
Oh.
I never graduated.
Wow.
So I started going to a technical college when I was 19, and I did well and I scored high on the tests. And then they have this this program that allows you to direct transfer as long as you meet certain requirements. And then I tested high enough to get into the business program, and I got out with like a 3.4 GPA at UW-Madison, which is a solid second-tier school.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
What? This bike, do you still have the bike that
I don't. I actually lost it, maybe 2 years later, but I got so much use out of it.
Yeah.
I think it was stolen. I think somebody stole it because I left it outside, poorly locked.
Well, maybe the person that stole it got onto the path like you did with it.
I hope that they did. And so, coming back to the organization, like transportation and access is super important to me, because having access to transportation allows people to have jobs. It allows them to go to school. It allows them to take care of their family, to make it to probation or parole appointments, like all of these things, economic activity, going and buying stuff, selling stuff, whatever. And so it's really, really important to me because it can have a huge impact in people's lives. And I want to change the world. I want to help people. And to that end, I wanted to figure out the most cost-effective way to do that. And bicycles were a logical way to do it. It's very, very cost effective. And we've been able to give away 13,000 bicycles.
Wow.
People in need in the last 16 years. We've taught free classes to over 6,000 students and diverted over 1,000 tons of waste from the landfill.
Wow. Congratulations.
Yeah, that is that is an amazing feat, and you're an amazing human being to be doing all that. So does the foundation still teach people how to fix them, or you just give them?
Oh yeah. So we don't want to give somebody something that's 100% ready to go, because then they're not going to own it. They're not going to think of it as being important. They're not going to value it. But if they put time in doing the finishing touches, it's more valuable. It's more important to them. They're more likely to keep it. They're more likely to use it. And the other thing too is, like, you don't want somebody who's really disadvantaged. Give them some transportation. It breaks. They can't afford to fix it. If you give them something, you teach them how to fix it, then they leave, and then it breaks again, because they always do. Then they know how to probably fix that issue.
That's awesome. And they probably can help their friends fix their bikes too.
Oh yeah. No, I've had tons and tons of stories where, like, a kid comes in, they do our classes, they build up a bike. It's really cool. One of their friends wants one. And then this one kid, it's on, I think there's a picture on our Instagram. He took a bike, he tore the whole thing down. He spray stenciled Supreme box logos onto it, painted it red and black, cut up the saddle, and replaced the saddle canvas with bootleg Supreme Louis Vuitton canvas from a chopped up bag, and then sold it to a kid at school for $700.
Oh my gosh, love it.
We have lots of situations where kids come in, we teach them how to fix stuff, and then they start kind of hustling on their own.
Yeah. Oh, that's so good, because that teach a person to fish instead of giving them the fish, that's the same method. And that's phenomenal. So many lives changed. And you're not just changing one, because it snowballs.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. Especially like half of the stuff that we give away is international. Like right now we're shipping stuff to the Gambia. And so
That
that's
blows
going to
my mind.
kids. They don't have access to cars, the roads are not very good. It gives them more time to bring water to their family. It gives them more time to study. It gives them more time to bring goods to market, more time to work, like all of these things. It helps build economic sustainability and freedom from the ground up.
Wow, you're so young. You seem so young to be talking like this and changing the world. It's so exciting.
So how do you get bikes over there?
We work with a bunch of different organizations and they take care of the logistics. We pool all the bikes into a place, they come and pick them up. That's what we're really good at. Once you become, I talk a lot about being expert in a field. Once you become an expert in a field, people just bring product to you. Like if you really, really know Vegas stuff, or you really, really know, well, you can't sell them on eBay, but firearms, or, old Levi's, or light up ceramic houses. And you're doing it for 10 years and you're on the forums and you're going to the conferences or whatever, people just start bringing you things. They just call you and they say, hey, I have this. Do you want to buy out a garage full? Can I just give you these things? I want to sell my collection. I want to sell half my collection. I want to trade. Like that becomes the easiest part. Getting inventory is super easy. Processing it, getting through that dead stock, getting through that pile, that can be.
But you're so right. So a friend of mine has a motorhome, and him and his wife travel the country, and he's an online seller, and he's got all his processes set up that he can just kind of wander about the country. And so he's staying down in Laughlin, which is about 90 miles from Vegas, down by Arizona. So he goes, hey, there's this great thrift store in the Arizona side that just has so many CDs, and CDs is one of my specialties. He said, come on down. So he had never seen me CD shop. And so I went through and they had 600, 700, 800 maybe. I went through them so fast. He's like, oh my God, I thought we'd be here till dinner. We were here for like 40 minutes. I go, yeah, because I know my thing. But but you're right when people say they come to you with that stuff. The squeal that Debbie gave for that Tiki mug, my friend who created it, he messaged me about a year ago and said, hey, would you sell my records for me? We'll split it. I go, sure. Never thought to ask him how many he had. And when he said they're ready to go, he said, oh, yeah, 65 boxes, 115 a box. And I'm like, quick math. You have 7,000 records I got to sell? So you're right.
Collectors are great. I love collectors. They're fantastic.
Yep.
They give me lots of stuff. I make lots of money on them. And the collectors are great. I mean, and that's one of the best things about eBay. Like I go to these conferences and for like the awards or like eBay up front, which is fantastic. There's going to be 8 of them next year. And you talk to the execs and everything there. And I keep telling them, like, what eBay is best at is specialty stuff for collectors or for business needs, like old, antiquated, like 30-year-old industrial equipment that people need in order to keep something running. Like that is what eBay is 100% best at. Like absolutely, you get all your cross-listing and everything where it's stuff that you can buy on other platforms, and that's valuable. But eBay's core business, in my opinion, specialty retail, absolutely.
I know a guy that sells parts for 100-year-old Indian motorcycles.
Oh yeah, there's great money in that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah, that's all he sells.
I make really, really good money on any bikes that are more than like 60 years old, 70 years old. Everything on them is valuable.
Wow.
So motorcycles too, huh?
Oh no, I mean bicycles. Sorry.
Okay. I'm like, oh, motorcycles? I didn't even realize that.
Wow.
So what's the most like bicycles you ever picked up or were given in one shot?
Oh geez, I don't even know. Well, today I got like 90.
90 bicycles?
Yeah, so there was 30, which was a donation to the charity, and then like 60 that we bought from like a bulk rate deal that we have with a thrift store in town.
All of a sudden, I picture him riding his bike with all these bikes stacked on top of him.
No, I mean, I've bought over 100 bikes at a time. I have processed like over 300, 400 bikes in a day.
Now, how about the police? The police do those auctions where they get this stuff.
You get some stuff from police auctions. There's like, we have sort of an application process that we have to go through for that. So Middleton Police Department, we get everything that they get. They just drop the stuff off without communicating to us at like 6 a.m. twice a year. But then the city of Madison, we have to fill out all this paperwork, and sometimes we get it and sometimes we don't. So, when you start doing charitable work, being able to interface with your local governments and also with your local thrift stores is great. I don't go thrifting anymore. I go talk to the people who run the thrift or run the regional thrift, and I say, hey, can I make a deal on whatever you can't sell on the floor in this category? After 2 weeks, I'll just buy all of it flat rate.
Nice. There you go, Jason. CDs and cassettes.
So have they all been receptive, or there been stores that have said,
places say no. People are going to say no to you all the time. It doesn't matter. You just keep trying.
That's right. You keep going.
Yeah, just a couple of those will keep you in business.
Oh yeah, we have one of those relationships, which is super, super helpful in getting lots and lots and lots of stuff to sell in order to fund our mission, and then also to give away.
Oh, this is so heartwarming.
So how many people work at the foundation with you there?
So we have 9 employees, including myself. So 8 people work with me, and 5 of us are full-time. We have a brick and mortar location. We do the extensive charitable work in the summer and fall. We're doing 6 free classes a week, plus 6 free open shops a week, which is you can come in and work on it yourself, but we're not going to help you. And then we also give away, we're probably going to hit 2,000 bikes given away this year. And we are in the process of opening a second location in partnership with the city of Madison, where they're going to pay our rent in a 3,000 square foot glass wall, ground floor, new build space, 2 blocks from the state capitol.
Oh my gosh.
And
that's
we're
prime.
going to do our classes there. We're going to do our education there. We're going to do some bike giveaways there. We're going to do a lot of like commuter services for people who want to store their bike overnight or during the day while they're working, showers and lockers and changing rooms, and of course sales and service at that location too. But that's pushed out till March, and that's a project I've been working on for 5 years.
Do you ever get to hang out with like the famous BMX riders or, people, because there are famous...
So I run into sort of bike people, not BMX stuff, more. So Madison, Wisconsin is Trek country. Trek is one of the best bicycle brands. That's a good thing to look out for. That's a good bolo.
Oh, good.
USA made Trek bicycles. Where it's
TREK, right?
Yeah,
TREK.
made in the USA, not assembled in the USA, not designed in the USA, made in the USA, handmade in the USA. Those are always worth some money to somebody.
Even the parts.
To look out for. But we get a lot of those, and then I know a lot of the riders and like club people and people who are kind of work for the company, because Trek is based in Wisconsin. It was founded 70 miles from where I live. The owner of Trek lives, I want to say, about 5 miles away from me.
Perfect.
Yeah, so we do
look like this.
Yeah, no, he doesn't look like that.
I forgot to do all my fun graphics tonight, Deb, and I'm like, I did some bicycle ones for now, so.
Well, I didn't have anything I bought for a quarter, so you couldn't use a quarter.
There we go. Look at that.
That's cool.
Look at that fanciness. Ta-da!
So in addition to saving the world one bike at a time, he also organizes meetups with other nonprofits, teaching them how to sell successfully on eBay and raise money for their businesses. When do you sleep?
Sleep is really important. Sleep is my number one thing. I am not a proponent of the like hustle yourself to death. Like, not. I sleep a minimum of 8 hours a night. Good. Pretty much every single night. That is number one. Sleep, then work, then socialize.
Wow, you're just really changing so many people's lives. It's just so exciting.
So you still going to punk shows?
No, not really. I go, twice a year. I'll go to like really crazy fun party, Halloween and New Year's.
Okay.
But it's it takes too much out of you. It really does.
Oh, don't tell me that. I'm 61 and I'm getting to go to see Tool for the second time.
My wife and I used to love to be in the mosh pit back in the 90s. And I don't know the exact year or day, but I remember the moment where I'm like, yep, I'm done with this.
Oh, I don't go in the mosh pit.
Yeah, that moment when you get just too old to be down there. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to buy a seat from now on. I don't like being down here no more.
Oh, yeah.
What, but so you got to earn money too. So you guys are, besides giving away so many, you're also selling a bunch of stuff.
Oh yeah.
And so
this year on eBay, we're at about $270,000.
Nice. Now, how do you decide when a bike is sitting there? Is this a bike we give away, or is this a bike we sell? Is it depend on how much it's worth? I assume. Yeah,
and there's also a gray area where there's going to be a pool of stuff that, like, if somebody walks in and they need it, we'll give it to them if it hasn't sold yet, and then we'll just pull it.
Nice.
And then, so we sort of sort the stuff out. That's something that's really important. That's a strategy that like everybody can use no matter what kind of products you're selling. You get your stream of stuff coming in, and then you pre-sort it into, scrap, trash, donation, local sale, Facebook Marketplace sale, gifts, whatever. You start and then, eBay category, Etsy, maybe Amazon, depending on what kind of different platforms you're using. That pre-sort is really, really important. It helps you maximize the use of limited warehouse space. And we have 4,800 square feet of warehouse space, and it is full. Like, I have thousands of bikes.
Wow. Yeah, we see them. We see the frames hanging upside down behind you there.
Oh, yeah.
Now, do you repaint them when they come in, or you just fix them raw?
I did that with 20 bikes with a guy who did powder coating, and it went over pretty well. Like, we made money, but we didn't make as much money as if we had taken that time to just turn the product faster.
Yeah, I can see that.
And so we tried it. And it's always good to try value-added stuff like that, and then run the numbers and compare to see if it was profitable, and if it was more profitable than just doing more of what your core business is already and doing it better.
Yeah, that's one thing. I never see people experiment like that. People, like today, someone was in another group going, screw eBay. I'm going to go start looking elsewhere. I'm like, it's 2019. You haven't looked at other places to sell yet, but you have to experiment. You have to figure out, okay, is this worth my time? Is this worth my money? Is this quicker than eBay? You've got to do these things, but you've also got to, like you said, you've got to pay attention to, okay, did we make enough to make it worth our while to keep painting these or powder coating them?
Yeah,
all right.
Well, like I said, this year I did 270 on eBay so far.
Oops, sorry, I wasn't laughing at you.
And another about 100 through specialty forums, like Bent Rider or bike forums or things like that, where it's more direct relationships. People will just call and they say, hey, I need this. Can you do this for me? And then it ends up being a $500 or $1,200 custom order. And then we mail it out, and I do like a credit card transaction over the phone, or they mail me a check or whatever.
Oh, you take checks, old school. All right.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I'll wait. If it clears, I'm waiting for it to clear, though, before I mail.
Yeah. All right. So here's the important question from the chat. Are you single?
Yes.
All right. There you go. Ladies of Madison, Wisconsin area. There you go. And then the next person said, but would he have time for a relationship?
All
right. Here's the real question. Could you marry a non-bike rider?
Yeah. It depends. It's a big part of my life, but there's a lot of things that you can do that aren't that, right? Like, so maybe if we got along because we did thrifting, or we did online stuff, or because we did charitable work or whatever, you find that like point of commonality, and then like you each have to have your own separate lives, but there's that intersection point.
Like maybe an accountant or a CPA. So do you ride your bike to work, or do you drive now?
I usually do ride my bicycle to work. I only live about 2.7 miles from work, and I ride year round.
I'll say, even in the dead of winter.
Yep. Special tungsten carbide studded tires, and like big like snowmobile type bar mitts on the handlebars.
All right. So Paul says, is there a site to look up values of bikes? So besides eBay, is there another place to look up bike value?
So I'll tell you right away, Bicycle Blue Book is terrible. Don't use Bicycle Blue Book in order to determine real values of bicycles. Bicycle Blue Book is owned by a chain of bike shops in California that use it to lowball on trade-ins. It'll give you a lower limit. It'll give you a number that you should never sell below. That's not a great site. Yakaz is a YAKAZ is a Craigslist aggregator site that I used for a long time in order to look up like how much on average are these things going for in the Craigslist secondary markets nationwide. I would say that eBay is probably the best in terms of just looking at eBay solds is probably the best to figure out the value of bikes. eBay's done a really good job. Like there's other sites like Pink Bike and stuff like that, but overall, eBay's done a really good job of keeping the vast majority of the secondary high-end bicycle market online.
That's good.
All right, and then the big question that everyone has talking about this subject: how do you go about shipping a bike?
So we pay anywhere from $12 to like $85 to ship a bike in the United States. You want to disassemble it? Partly, you take the wheels off, you take off the drive side crank and the pedals, you take the stem out keeping the cables attached, and you remove the seat post, and then you pack all the metal objects with like cardboard or bubble wrap around them, and then you use zip ties to hold everything in place. So you make like one, packet, and then you measure the dimensions of the packet, and then you custom cut a box to fit that shape. And then you drop it in, and then you put cardboard padding anywhere where metal touches cardboard, and then you tape it up. And I usually do FedEx. Pirate Ship is sometimes good. USPS is sometimes good. There are regional carriers that can save you a lot of money too, depending on the region that you're in, but they're usually only going to do like a 4-state area, and they usually have like a flat rate pickup fee that is kind of high. So if you're not sending like a bunch of packages all at once, it doesn't make as much sense.
Have you ever used Roadie?
I have not.
I don't know if they're still in business. Roadie is independent.
A lot of people is a good one too. And shipbikes.com. I don't use them because my rates through eBay or my corporate rate through FedEx is better. But for some people, those are really good. Internationally, you got to check your dimensions. If you can get it small enough to fit in a USPS priority mail package, it'll be about $150 to $200 to ship an entire bike anywhere in Western Europe. Wow.
And then the buyer knows how to reassemble all that, right?
It is standard in the bike industry that if you buy a bike online, it is coming disassembled.
Okay.
And we always say that a professional needs to put it together, and that's kind of to cover my ass because like a home mechanic might make a mistake. But a lot of home mechanics are really good and they can figure it out. And we'll talk people through it on the phone. We'll tell them, hey, check out this YouTube video, stuff like that.
Yeah, and so Angela says, do you have a video of you packing the bike?
If you look at the eBay promo for the Ebay Shine Awards for this year, there's a quick piece of a bike being packed in there.
Okay.
Yeah. And I can talk you through it. If anybody wants to know, just like say something in the comments and I could talk you through it.
So people wanted to know what your Instagram was, so there it is.
I'm not super active on it. I post every like couple months, to be honest.
He's too busy working and saving the world.
Yep. So there's his Instagram, and then we're going to share a couple scores and duds. But real quick, because I forgot this. Ta-da! Tuesday, I'm doing a free webinar for everybody who wants to join up. Just go to thriftingclass.com. And what the impetus for this webinar was, when the government shut down back earlier in the year, we were planning a webinar then to help out with those government employees that were out of work. And then they kind of came back kind of quick, but I'd already done the webinar. So we were thinking about it. And, this is the time of year that people need money for Christmas gifts. And if you come up a little short, Nielsen and eBay did a survey and found out that the average American had $3,100 worth of unused goods around their house. And so I took that and ran with that and broke it down into like the 10 areas of your house where these things are. And then in those 10 areas, here's the 5 common things to find. And so this webinar is going to be teaching all those things that you haven't thought about in 3 years, 5 years, 20 years, that is worth some money laying around your house. So if you had a job and you got laid off, or if Christmas came up and you're a little short on gifts, or if you had a sudden illness and you had to put money towards that, this is a quick, easy way that you're not having to spend money to make money like most of us do. Elijah's buying some bikes, Debbie's buying books, I'm buying CDs. But there is stuff around your house. I'm going to teach you about all that stuff and where to sell it on Tuesday, 7 o'clock East Coast, 4 o'clock West Coast. If you can't make it live, just get signed up. You will get the link to watch it after the fact. The important thing about watching it live, if you can, I will answer any and all questions you have. So get signed up, thriftingclass.com. Easy peasy. We'll see you on Tuesday.
I just remembered we have 2 bikes in our storage shed that neither one of us has ridden in years. Maybe we should sell that.
There you go. See? All right. So when I was giving your scores, I don't really pay attention until I click all the links and I read. And I kept seeing all this Pendleton stuff show up. I'm like, I thought we were talking bicycle. So tell me about your.
I also sell Pendleton and I also sell Legos. It's probably those two is only about 15% of my revenue combined. Like 85% of my revenue is going to be a mix of vintage bicycles, bicycle parts, frames, and then new dead stock but like wholesale stuff that I buy through different accounts. Pendleton's great. It's like I'm passionate about it. I'm part Native American. I learned about it years ago. I run a Facebook group. Actually, I run the biggest Facebook group for identifying and grading and showing off Pendleton stuff.
Wow, we got to join that.
It's a huge, you can make a lot of money on these. Like if you look at this one, like $390 sold. So I paid, I want to say $135 for this. And like, don't be afraid to spend money if you know your stuff, but you have to know your stuff. These are great. The 3/4 length shearling wool patterned Pendletons are great. Anything native print USA made Pendleton is worth good money, easily over $100 for pretty much any blankets, coats, things like that. They can be a little tough to find, but you can find them at thrifts for $10, $20 sometimes. You can find them on other platforms. Sometimes you can find them on Craigslist. This one I think was a Craigslist find for me. And like a lot of people will think, well, $135, that's a lot. I don't want to pay $135 for a coat. But if you know, right, like this is a pretty average price too. Like I could have held out for more money. Like look at solds for Pendleton shearling coats on eBay. There's going to be like 4 because nobody has them. And they're all going to be $300 to $500.
Wow.
And all these Pendletons are literally the same weekend. This was just like this last weekend. I sold every single one of these that weekend.
Wow.
So that's like $800 in sales.
People are getting cold. They need to warm up. These are gorgeous.
It is blanket season. Yep. This one's an Oregon Trail. That was $324. I think I paid like $60 for this one.
Wow.
You just got to keep an eye out. People have them at thrift shops sometimes. People have them at the more expensive thrift boutiques and they'll be priced a little higher. But you see, if you bought this for $100 and you sell it for $300, you're still doing great. And then they'll also be at garage sales, and you can get crazy deals at garage sales. Pawn shops also usually have them for about $100. And if you know your patterns, sizes, and things like that, you can still make money at that price.
Oh, I didn't think about pawn shops. Wow.
Pawn shops for specialty stuff can be great. This one's Star Wars. That's great. They did limited editions. So they have the classic geometric patterns, and those are worth money, but not quite as much. The special limited edition ones are worth more. I want to say I sold a 1920s Shriner blanket for $700 once.
Oh my gosh.
And then this one, it's a 1 of 250 limited edition Star Wars blanket, which of course there's a new movie coming out, and BB-8's so cute and adorable, and it's got great colors. And part of the reason they retain their value is like it's a US made company. They've been in business forever. They're the only native trade blanket company that still exists. They do limited editions. So they come out and they're sold out. And then people, if they want them, they have to pay whatever. The new price on a full blanket is anywhere from like $269 to $369. Like right now from pendleton.com, you can buy them, but they're expensive, which means all the vintage ones are always going to retain good value in the $100 to $300 range because it's still a better price than buying new. And many of the patterns get retired, so you can't get them anymore. So you have people have to hunt for them.
Wow. Have you ever found any counterfeits in these?
It's really tough to fake. There are people who copy the patterns, but it's really tough to fake the quality of the wool.
Yeah.
That's a crazy awesome pattern.
And again, all of those sold in one weekend. This was last weekend.
Wow.
You had a good last weekend.
I did, but I usually sell a couple of them a week.
Wow.
And I usually buy in the summer.
Smart.
All right. So since you're a bike guy, here's some bike parts though now.
Oh yeah. So I sell a mix of vintage stuff and then also new stuff. I have a couple different wholesale accounts. This is like, if you want to get your business to $500,000 a year, add wholesale. Like start from specialty retail vintage stuff and then add related wholesale. So this, I bought 14 of them. I paid a really low price, like less than $200. MSRP is $750, and I sold 13 of them from anywhere from $400 to $700, and in less than a year. So this was really great. So this has certain characteristics that, like, as an expert, you would know. And I mean, you can, the next one, if there's a dud, no, there's a dud later. You want to show the dud actually? No, you didn't.
Sure.
So there's a smoothie. So this one, I've sold none of them.
Oh,
I've
no.
sold 0 of them. And you would look at the two and you say, well, a similar price, similar brand. Why would the characteristics be different? But if you go back to the first one, it's got lugs, it's threaded, the style is right. And so, like, as an expert, you can kind of know, okay, this is what the market's going to want. These are the sorts of characteristics in these items that are going to make them a good bet. And then you're going to make mistakes sometimes. You just absolutely are going to make mistakes. And I actually have sold some of the black ones, but I sold them just in store. And I'll eventually get my money back out of it, but it's not turning the way that I want it to. So you have to really know your stuff when you're getting into wholesale, because you can get stuck with $1,000, $10,000, $20,000 of inventory that's not turning. It's costing you interest. It's costing you storage space. So you got to be careful about that.
True.
Mm-hmm.
And then some bike tires.
These, I love these. I pay $15 and I sell them for anywhere from $25 to $40. I've sold hundreds.
Nice.
People love them. And I found a good brand. I've got a good wholesaler for them. I have good sources for them. That's a pretty thin margin, 15 to 25 or 15 to 40, except when you're selling. I mean, I think I sold 30 of them today.
Wow.
So that's, and it's replenishable. I can keep getting them. And not exactly, right? Like I can't get this color and size and tread combo again because it's a limited edition, but I know that I can get another 50 or 100 that's very similar, and I can keep reusing that listing. One really good trick, if you have a multi-quantity listing and it sells down to 0, and then you edit it and you put in a similar item, in this case, like a bike tire with a slightly different color, same brand, same wheel size, slightly different color, slightly different model, and then you re-up the quantity, you keep your sell-through rate. You keep your rank position. So that can be super helpful.
Smart.
And then this is a dud because people don't have the iPhone 8 or...
So I paid, I didn't get very many of these. They were really cheap. Like I paid less than $1 for these.
Oh, wow.
But I've had them for about a year and a half. And they've actually sold really well in store. So that's one of the reasons why you want to be in different markets. You want to be in different platforms. Something might do really well on Craigslist, but not on Facebook, or it might do really well on eBay, but not in store. And so by diversifying your inventory and diversifying the channels that you're selling in, you can kind of smooth that out in terms of seasonal volatility of sales, but then also regional or marketplace volatility of sales. But these, I guess people don't have them. I got buried by the Chinese manufacturers. It wasn't a big deal. Like this is like a $3 mistake plus my time.
Yeah.
So be willing to make those bets, but realize that you're going to make mistakes. You're going to pick products that aren't great. This is always look out for these. Tricycle recumbents. Anytime you see a recumbent tricycle, it's worth money. I sold this for $900 plus $100 shipping. I paid about $100 for it.
Nice.
It's not even a nice one, to be honest. The nice ones are like $3,000.
Holy cow. That is a nice profit margin.
Oh, yeah. And it only took me 2-3 months to sell. Nice. And I had a lot of people making offers. When you've got a high demand, really weird, niche, rare item, don't be afraid to hold for a little bit more. And this one I cross-listed on recumbent specialty websites, and I put links into Facebook pages for people who like recumbents and tricycles. That drove a lot of traffic. So then eBay's like, hey, out-of-site traffic that's looking at this, it's more relevant. It bumps it up a little bit. But if you search on eBay tricycle recumbent, there's very, very few sellers. And that's a really good place to be in as a specialty retailer, to be listing something that people want where there aren't very many sellers of that item, because then you can kind of just set your price.
All right, we're gonna finish with 3 questions for you.
Okay.
Paul wants to know, how do you measure a bike?
There's a bunch of different ways to do it. Center to center, center to top, center to imaginary. So from the center of the crankset to the top of the seat tube, where the seat post goes into the bike, is the most common way to measure a bicycle. However, if you think about the 2 triangles, there's like so many different variations of geometry that can be there. So the short answer is you should ask an expert or go on some forums and look up how to do it. There are at least 4 different standard ways to do it, and there are at least 5 different common geometry standards. Mountain bike sizing does not equal road bike sizing.
It's good to know.
Carol wants to know, where's the best place to get more educated on bikes, parts, wholesale, talking as clueless here.
It took me 15 years, 16 years to learn what I know. Like, I don't mind sharing my business with people because I know it's really, really hard to get to where I am. It's hard to undercut me. It's hard to do what I do. If you find some bikes, though, check online and see what they're worth at a garage sale. There's a lot of bikes at garage sales that are worth a lot more money than you would think. And so just check. And so that can be like an easy thing to add if you're already out there looking for stuff. You see a Colnago, you see a Pinarello, you see a Schwinn Paramount. Those are all $1,000 plus bicycles. And sometimes you can get them at garage sales really cheap. Wholesale, you need to have a storefront in many cases to have a wholesale account. Once you have a storefront and you have a good track record, you can get multiple wholesale accounts pretty easily. You can learn more, sheldonbrown.com, fantastic place. Everything you want to know about bikes, then some, and then some more. It's a fantastic resource, and it'll teach you a lot about different bike stuff. Bikeforums.com, MTVR Review. In any sort of specialty market, there's going to be these niche websites and forums where people talk about it and have been talking about it for 20 years. And there's all the crazy, weird stuff that you would ever want to know. And that's a really good place to be. And if I go and I post on those and I talk and, and then people contact me and they say, hey, I want this. Can you help me out? Can you find this? I want to spend this much money. And that's a great position to be in, because then I can look through what I don't have listed yet. I can go talk to my friends. I can kind of say, okay, does it make sense for me to do this or not? And those usually end up being pretty strong profit margin sales, like maybe a $500 sale that I'll make $300 on, something like that.
Awesome. All right. And then the last question, and what we haven't really talked about, is what made you apply to the Shine Award?
Yes.
When they come out, you should apply to them. There's no reason not to. It's just a paragraph. I thought it would be great. I was sort of procrastinating. I had a bunch of listings to do, and I was on eBay and I saw it like kind of come on the screen, and I was like, oh, I'll do some price edits and some title edits, and I'll apply to this thing instead of listing all of these things that I don't want to list. Because we all get to that point where like you're just sick of copying and pasting blocks of text and putting in pictures because you've been doing it for 4 hours already, and you already did it for 16 hours the previous 3 days. It was really that, I saw it and I just figured, why not? And it took me about an hour to apply, and you just write a couple paragraphs. And if you've got a good story,
gotta have a story.
If you have a good, compelling story, do it. If you're helping people, do it. There's no reason not to. All it costs you is about an hour of your time, and it's great. The Shine Awards is fantastic. I have met the CEO of eBay. I've met a bunch of the C-suite people at eBay. I learned a ton of stuff from great people like Prince Patel and David Bartholomew and like a bunch of other people who kind of pushed me to get more into wholesale stuff. And go to eBay Open, go to eBay Upfront. If you get a chance to go to these, or if you do Amazon, go to the Amazon conference. If you want to take your business seriously, if you want to be a 50K a year seller, if you want to be a $500,000 a year seller, go to conferences, and go to conferences in your niche. I just was in Tijuana for a conference in bicycle cooperatives, and I helped a bunch of bicycle nonprofits there start selling online, but I also learned a ton of things about how to better manage the nonprofit organization.
I wanted to end with something too. On your Freewheel site, it says that we can send you, you need donations of WD-40, nitrite gloves, and V brake pads. So if I send you a gallon of WD-40, I can get it for $17.99, ship free Prime, Amazon. I can send that to you, and you guys can use a gallon of WD-40.
Oh yeah, absolutely. WD-40, Simple Green, stuff like that, super helpful. Donations to our PayPal, they were tax deductible, 501c3. Those super helpful. There's a link on the site in the lower right-hand corner to donate on PayPal, and that's
on. That's when you say site, you mean your
Freewheel
Facebook page. Freewheel. Okay.
Yep.
All right, and then and this, Elijah, everyone wants to join your Pendleton group because we do talk about Pendletons.
Pendletons are great. All Pendletons are money. This is a Pendleton snap shirt. These sell on eBay, I don't know, anywhere from $25 to $110. Retails $136.
Wow.
They're great. They're great flannels. People love, they don't repeat patterns. So people are always looking for like that, like this, maybe they'll do this, but there's a little yellow in it, right? But you can't get this again because they made it and then they're done. So go look at the flannels. Go look at the Pendleton Pearl Snaps. You won't see like a repeated color pattern in there. So people really like them. They're very good quality. You want anything Pendleton made in the USA. That's an easy thing to pick up at a thrift store if you can get it for a good price.
And so what's the name of your group, Elijah?
Pendleton Woolen Mills. Let me see. It's kind of a long name. It's Pendleton Woolen Mills is what it starts with.
Owen Mills?
Woolen.
Oh, woolen.
W-O-O.
Do you sell Pendleton that has little, like tiny little moth bites in them?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Oh, good. Gotta get that out of our donation pile. Because I find them and you hold them up to the light and you can see some. I found a whole robe.
Pendleton Woolen Mills, Beaver State, Blankets, Sales and Research.
Ooh, that's a mouthful. We'll find it. I'll find the link.
We'll get the link up in the group.
You can post eBay group. That's actually a really great tip for anything that you're selling. If you have a Pendleton blanket, if you've got a bicycle, if you've got a ceramic light up house, take the link when you're done posting it, click the little Facebook button, and then go and add it to a group for ceramic light up houses or bicycles or Pendleton and say, hey, check this out. This is cool. I'll give you a special deal if you make an offer. What that's going to do is, as long as it's within the rules of the group to post sale links, what that's going to do is some of those people who are very highly motivated buyers, they're really interested. They're probably going to be more price sensitive than the general consumers because they kind of know their stuff, but they're going to go all up onto eBay, boosting your traffic numbers. eBay's going to like it because it's out of site traffic, and they're more likely to convert. Again, they're going to want a deal, but they're more likely to convert. And all that traffic is going to rank you up higher and going to push you up above your competitors. And so posting links into specialty Facebook groups is a great way to drive velocity.
Wow.
Jeez, so much awesomeness tonight.
I know.
I got to thank you for coming on. I mean, I knew we'd hear a great story, but just every little thing you've thrown out tonight is beyond awesome. And I know I see the chat. They're just in love with you. So
we might have to have you come back on and tell us part two.
And I make it to Wisconsin once a year. I was just there, but when I come next year, I'd like to come by and see the whole operation, if you don't mind.
Oh, of course, that would be fantastic.
And congratulations on Shine Award. Jason and I, we were both. And my husband, we were at eBay Open when you won. We were in the audience.
Well, thank you.
Very good. And if you ever need anything from us, Elijah, just reach out, and we're happy to help.
Absolutely.
Yes.
All right, everybody. Thank you very much for tuning in live. Give us a big thumbs up if you haven't subscribed. Subscribe to the channel. Click the bell, let you know when we're going live. See you on Sunday with my mom, and get signed up for my free webinar on Tuesday.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, viewers, and thank you, Elijah.
All right, thank you.
Have a good evening, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Go Packers.